Correct, sir.
You are correct, sir. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Obsession. I'm Karl Bethke.
I'm Mike Stadler.
Mike.
Carl?
Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2025.
2025. Man, we've been doing this a long time.
You mean living?
No, we ain't going to talk about that.
L-I-V-I-N. Living.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I just had a moment there for a second. Like, holy cow.
Was it a senior moment?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of those nowadays. But, well, we're going to kind of talk about how the year went, Mike.
Yeah, buddy.
We had a hell of a year, my friend. We did. If you really think about it.
Oh, yeah.
You know. Together, us hunting together, we each got 5, which was our goal.
Yes.
Black bear, antelope, mule deer, and 2 whitetails each. And you went with Seth for your first time down in Texas.
Yes.
Shot a couple rams and a couple pigs.
Yeah, two rams, 3 pigs.
2 rams, 3 pigs. And introduced another guy to bow hunting.
Sucker. Get your checkbook out, buddy.
Oh, geez, Seth. You just spent $1 million.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's a fact, isn't it? So, well, why don't we start out with, why don't you talk about, and I'll show some of the video on the show here, why don't you talk about that Texas hunt, seeing it was the first time you went down there. And
Yeah, so that was January of 24.
Yep.
So would have been, I guess, the start of my season. My wife informed me that was the start of the season. I tried to make it like it was the season before.
I thought it was before. Like, that's 23 season.
See, that's what I thought, but she said, no, it's actually not. But anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, a buddy of mine, Seth, asked me if I wanted to go to Texas to shoot hogs, and they had rams and all that stuff down there. And I'm like, really wasn't super keen on it, to be very honest with you.
Yep.
Like, no, they're all going with guns. I did not. I did take my muzzle loader with me.
Yeah.
I went down there with the bow, and I had a blast. It was fun. We were only there for 3 days. I spotted and stalked.
Yeah.
I waited for the guys to go out in the morning, and I just stayed until they got out. And then the guy said I could go out then and do whatever I wanted because nobody's out there with guns.
Right.
So I just went and spotted and stalked and shot pigs on the ground and shot 2 nice rams.
Yep.
Spot and stalk, and I did film some of it.
Oh, yeah, we got it. That's what I'm showing right now.
Filmed the rams, filmed some of the pigs.
Tell you what, you never done this?
I hated the drive. It was 24 hours down there and back, and I drove.
Yeah.
But,
you're riding in that comfortable machine you were in.
It's terrible. Terrible. I still tell him about it every week.
Seth,
yeah.
Your Ford sucks.
Yeah, get a new truck, guy.
GM products, they're pretty comfortable.
That's what I'm
pretty
talking
comfortable,
about.
Seth.
But yeah, it was a good time.
Met a couple guys.
Met some guys, pretty cool guys. We met another taxidermist.
Yep.
That actually has some of our work too. He's been trying to get me to go to Africa. It's not happening. I'm not going to Africa. I am not interested in it. If Africa was like 2 hours away, might be a little different.
That 26-hour plane flight.
Yeah, it's
not a positive.
Yeah, it was a good time. It didn't help me with the taxidermy bill.
No, well.
Because now I,
right.
got some more of them coming.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
And the wife does not still know that I'm having the boar mounted.
Shh.
I hope she doesn't watch this because I don't have them back.
It's only money.
Yeah.
You'll make more.
Yeah, who cares?
You'll be fine.
I'll lose more than I'll ever make.
Good thing you built a new building.
Yeah, getting there.
That's right. Yeah.
That was the start of our season.
That was the start of the season. So then you came back, and obviously we started doing all small property layouts and stuff. We actually did some stuff before you left, but we did some bedding work. Bunch of bedding work on both properties this year, which we'll talk more about later, but was very successful for both of us.
Yeah, for sure.
So obviously, you guys know, hitting the gym, doing everything we do, shooting bow, consistently, practicing all these very important stuff to keep yourself in shape and keep your shooting form in condition for hunting. Then it was time to go bear hunting.
Yeah, went to Canada, eh?
Yeah, Canada. And we took Phil with us to Canada.
Eh?
Yeah. And you and Phil had been up there before. This is my first time actually ever hunting with Andrew.
Yeah, went to Boundary Waters Guide Service.
Yep, great place.
Great place. I met Andrew in 2019, I believe I went the first time. I had drawn a bear tag here in Wisconsin in 2018. Was it 18?
It was 18.
Okay.
Because that was the year I shot mine.
Yeah, and because it was 17, I had my tag here.
Yep.
Didn't even see a bear. Was pissed off.
Yep.
10 years waited for that tag. So I'm like, I'm going to Canada. And Karl had applied then the next year for his kill tag. Mm-hmm. And he went northern Wisconsin.
And you were in Canada.
And I went to Canada.
Yep.
Shot a really nice bear up there the first year I went. So actually tried to go back several years. We did.
Yep.
Because Karl was going to go with me, and Phil was going to go again. All the COVID crap went on.
Yep.
Border issues for 3 years. So finally, we were able to go this year.
Yep.
So the three of us went up there.
And that was a blast.
Yep.
It's a great trip. It's fairly close for us, so we drove.
Yeah, it's 8 hours.
Yeah, something like that. And got up there. It was a little fiasco getting there. Well, we got there just fine. It was finding where we were going to stay.
I kind of forgot.
It's out a ways.
Yeah, I hadn't been there in several years, and I thought I knew where it was, and we ended up driving right by it.
Well, we did know where you knew where it was.
Yeah,
it's just we missed one little turn on a dirt road.
Yeah.
And that was that was like a 4 or 5 hour issue.
Needless to say, we weren't hunting that night.
Yeah, we didn't hunt that night, but we wanted to.
Yeah.
But once we started hunting, I mean, it was, jeez, I've never seen so many black bear in my entire life, dude. And right away, you get a chance at a giant.
Yep. Yeah, Andrew does a good job. Very limited tags he has.
Yep.
Large area property. Manages lots of baits for guys. Baits are untouched.
Yep.
I mean, so one of the only hunts that we ever do really where somebody else is doing the work for us.
Yeah.
But he does it. He did it. And everybody had opportunities at, Pope Young bears.
Giant bears.
He had them on every bait. Had pictures of them.
Yeah.
Showing us.
Dude, I have never, and I am not lying, I have never seen that many black bear. Ever.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
In my entire life. And I was they were coming in one right after another.
Yeah.
And like Mike said, there was the bait that I hunted, there was some giant bears coming in there. I just didn't get a great shot at any of them. And, you took yours right away. And I think the first 2 days we didn't sleep.
No, we were
recovering animals and hunting.
Yeah, shot a beautiful bear.
Yeah, your bear was big.
It was one that was on that bait. There was actually a bigger one.
Yeah.
That he was wanting me to kill, but sorry. I wasn't waiting on that one.
Yeah.
When he came out.
That thing's a giant.
And Phil had shot one actually same night. Mm-hmm. We didn't find him. Andrew was real cool about it. Yep. Let him go back out and still hunt. Karl made a really good shot on one, I think the next night. Yep. And we did not find him. Knew he was dead, but just it's some dense, thick,
and the rain.
And it rained.
We had a dog out there and everything. And we did not find that bear. Andrew did find him later.
He did find him later on, in the season.
But it got to be, what was it now? Day 3? And
I think
day 4?
4 or 5. I think we had one more day left because I was sitting with you filming.
Yeah. So Mike and I went out together. We actually sat in the same tree, and we had a sow and her cubs come in at first.
Giant sow.
That giant sow. And I was like, God, Mike, I think, nah. And I was like, yeah. And Mike's like, no, hold on.
There's cubs coming.
And here come the cubs. I'm like, oh, whew, good. Number 1 rule, you do not shoot sows. Know your program.
Yeah.
Know your program.
Yeah.
So anyway, she came in and left, and then we had a smaller boar come in, let him go. Then we had a giant boar come in, but never presented a shot.
He came in and left right away.
And then that smaller boar came back in, which we knew was a bear Andrew had a ton of pictures with. He calls them griller.
Yeah, he's
grillers. He was a griller, you know. And we were filming, and he was in there, and I'm looking, and I said to Mike, I said, well, I'm going to pick up my bow here.
He kept looking at me, but I would not give him an answer. He wanted me to. I'm like, no, I'm just going to look over here.
Yeah. I'm like, what do you think? Yeah. What do you think? Well, anyhow, I chose to shoot this bear, and the footage is pretty cool. We'll show that to you guys quick. Yeah. But, yeah, my second black bear ever. Nice bear up there in Canada. And then we had Phil left, and Phil actually went back to the same stand that I was in and ended up killing that big boar. Yep. So Mike and Phil both shot giant bears, and I shot a good black bear in Canada. So we were all happy, and that hunt was over. That was what, June, right?
It was.
Yeah.
First week in June. Second weekend in June. First
spring bear in Canada. And the bugs. Oh, my God.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
ticks.
Yeah, dual thermal cells running. Yeah. It was something.
Small black flies.
Yeah. Well, they were just coming.
Yeah.
The mosquitoes were bad at night even. But so anyhow, summer goes on. We do all our prep and everything for whitetail hunting, which you guys see on small property layouts. You can check out every Wednesdays. But we laid out our food plots, laid out our properties, emphasized more bedding, set our stands, got all that stuff ready. And, of course, then we start getting ready for hunting season, shooting longer yardages, getting ready for South Dakota. We had mule deer and antelope tags this year. So we left early September and got over to South Dakota where we hunt. It is private land where we're hunting. Mike was lucky enough; he actually drew public land mule deer or public land deer and public land antelope last year. So he could hunt on the public that's next to where our private is if he wanted to. And so we started hunting, and of course our number one goal there is starting. We're always there a week before. We had Seth and Phil coming out with us.
Yep.
But we have a week before those guys get there, and we're hunting mule deer.
That's a given.
That's a given. And we had some
good bachelor groups of mule
deer. There was some really good deer to hunt this year. I think a lot of that had to do with the food plots that were put in.
Yeah, you did put some green food plots in.
Put some green plots in, and I think that helped hold the deer in the area real well. He actually had elk in there.
Yeah, he had elk in there.
Yeah, and I mean big elk.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll get a chance to get an elk tag. I sent him a couple cameras so they can verify the pictures and stuff. And once they do that, then his family will be able to get an elk tag.
Right, for sure.
That would be nice. So anyway, we started hunting mule deer right away. Antelope at opportunity. Mm-hmm. And we had opportunity at antelope, and I'll show you guys a little bit of that running around us. The rut was getting pretty close.
Yep.
But like I said, our goals obviously mule deer. And I got an opportunity the first mule deer we took. Well, we had a lot of opportunities. We both missed a couple times, which is normal out there because the deer, if they hear your bow go off, they just get out of the way.
Yeah.
It's, some of the longer shots and if you get fairly close to them, obviously you're going to win that one. But out there's not a lot of terrain to work with.
No,
you'll see that.
It's a lot different than where we hunt them in North Dakota or anybody that hunts them. It's not. It's a lot more open plains than it is mule deer country. So it's tough.
But I got an opportunity. Ended up taking a really nice 4x4 with kickers on both of his forks in full velvet. That's the first full velvet animal I've ever shot. Mm-hmm. And that was the first muley we took. I actually stalked in on this deer. There was two of them laying there, and I had an opportunity to shoot the one I was actually had what I thought was a better shot at. I shot, and I actually hit a tree limb on this tree. And he got up and hauled ass, and the buck I ended up killing stood up, and they were about the same size. I just pulled back again with another arrow and put an arrow into him. ended up putting 1 or 2 more into him too
A few.
before he got away.
Yeah.
We don't stop shooting when we're out there. Yeah. Ended up taking that deer, and then it was I missed an antelope buck while we were walking out. He was bedded with a bunch of does.
Yep.
But then your turn, you came in there. Your mule deer.
Yeah, we were.
That was
several days in.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity on a good one that I screwed up.
Yeah.
That one bedded. We were on one early. Actually, right after that is when Karl shot his.
It's true.
But I had that one. I had him at 23 yards. And everything like, how the hell did you miss him? I didn't miss him. Problem was, we sat on this deer, got in front of him, did everything, did all the hard stuff to a T.
Yep.
And he was actually sleeping out, completely dead to the world. Mm-hmm. And I walked up over top of him, ranged him at 30. And I'm like, I can get a better shot than that yet, because I wanted to get around him a little bit better. Thinking I only took a few steps, I actually took quite a few more than that. Anyway, long story short, go to take the shot, pins at 30.
Deer's at 20.
Deer's at 20. I shoot him, hit him way far forward. He's laying.
You didn't hit him forward, you hit him high.
Hit him high and
he's angled hard away.
Yeah. His ass is to me, laying bedded away.
Yep.
And hit him way far, and gets up and the arrow's up in his shoulder, in the front of his shoulder. No time to get another one in. By the time I did, he
was gone.
Gotten his senses back and was gone, but very unhappy about that. Didn't do a one more range and reset my pin there. It was a really nice buck.
Yes, it was.
Is what it is. And then we hunted every morning then still, because we mainly hunted mornings for muleys. The evenings we decided just was we would hurt ourselves more than help.
Yep.
With how we were seeing them. I don't remember what day it was, 5 or 6 days. It was close to those guys getting here.
It was like the day before they got there.
Before they got there, so we were
6 days, 7 days.
6 or 7 days, I think, and we'd get on deer every day. Wasn't getting any shots. We were getting in, but I wasn't getting any more shots. We got a lot of shots earlier.
Well, the thing we were doing is we were coming. There's a big ridge, and we'd come up to the top of the ridge, right at sunup, and these deer would be coming out of these fields, and we'd watch them go out to where they're going to bed, and then we would head out and basically attack them in their beds.
Yep. Just we'd have to let them get all the way out across this valley.
Yeah, and when we're saying across the valley, we're talking like 2 or 3 miles.
Yeah, and we just sit and watch.
Because it was, 6 miles on the first one, the one you were talking about.
Yep.
6 miles in is where he ended up bedding. And we watched him the whole way, and then we went out and around him, probably 8 miles out, and then we came back in around on him.
Yep.
And then we got to that yardage.
Yep. Then that last day we watched the same group again. There was, what was there in that group? 6?
6 or 7.
6 or 7?
Yeah.
And
all good deer.
All good deer. Some really big ones.
Yep.
Some other good ones in there. We watched them again. Went all the way down. Went all the way out and around where we thought they would be.
Yep.
Worked that whole thing back. How many miles is that back? I don't.
Yeah, it was when we went way out. It was another 3.5 miles back.
Yeah.
To where we were going to meet.
Yep.
The rancher, because he was out checking cattle that day.
Yeah. And never got a buck. Never even got on a buck our whole morning hunt all the way through there. So we came back and we both talked about it. We're like, they got to be in that other piece. They must have went just a little bit further, because the property didn't go a lot further than that.
Yep.
Well, not a lot further. I say a few miles.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah, we talk in miles now when we're out there.
Yeah.
It's not.
And the landowner's like, well, I take you back out there. He's like, I gotta go check some cattle and stuff. I'll drop you off.
Yep.
So he dropped us off, and then we started on the very far end of his property.
Yep.
Started walking it back, and we were in the bottom.
Yeah.
Windy.
So we're coming up a river bottom, a creek bottom. There's no water in this creek. this time of year. We're coming back up at the very bottom.
Yeah, and it was windy.
Oh, yeah.
Very windy. And
there were storms around us.
Yep. We're getting very close to actually where we had started in the morning.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And not to bullshit you, we're screwing off, kind of talking. We're like, well, tomorrow's another day.
Yeah.
Come around a bend, and I'm like, chit. I'm like, there they were. The group of them was bedded.
Yep.
On the base of that ridge, basically on that bottom of that waterway there. And there was a buck at the back. They were all bucks.
Yep.
There's a buck at the back. I ranged him at 74.
Yep.
Set my pin pulled up. I know Karl did have his camera running and everything.
Yep, that's on the video.
I don't even know what we all got out of that, but
I got your arrow going to him, but because the knoll is there, the arrow disappears behind the knoll, and then you hear it hit the deer.
Hit him. Knew we hit him. Karl takes off up and around with his bow, because we said several times, like, you don't stop till that guy's on the ground and done. And I went straight after him on the ground. Got around the bend. He was hit hard.
Yeah.
I got around him again and shot him again, and ended up getting one. Didn't even know what buck it was.
Right.
But took him. Obviously not one of the biggest ones there, but I was super ecstatic.
Oh yeah, great deer.
To take one.
Great deer.
And it was a shot of opportunity, and I was taking it.
Yep.
At that point. So, yeah, we got, both our mule deer down.
And then it was antelope time.
And then we went antelope shooting.
Oh, man. Antelope are even tougher.
Yeah.
Number one, they see better. And they use their nose like a deer does too. And then the advantage we have is it's the rut. Mm-hmm. Okay, so, we got around on a couple of them, and, you get 70, 80 yards, and the wind was just,
Yeah.
I think the lowest wind day we had, which you want wind. I ain't going to lie.
Yeah,
you want wind while you're out there.
You got to have wind.
But I think, there was days it was 30 plus miles an hour.
Yeah, we had a lot of heavy.
Yeah, well, those storms were coming in and out. We had a fire on the property, on Tim's dad's property, and there's no fire department out there, and all the neighbors brought their water trucks, and the guys got the fire taken out. It was something, but I think it was, 3 days in once Phil got there, or 2 days? Phil and Seth got there?
Yeah,
Was it that day, or was it the day that Phil and Seth got there? I shot mine.
The day they got there, we shot them both.
We did. We shot them both.
They were on their way.
That's right.
They were there, but we were still out.
Yeah. Yeah, so in the morning we had gone out. So this is like the day after, or 2 days. That's the day after you shot your mule deer.
Yeah.
And I think that day I was up first, wasn't I? We seen a couple bucks. We've been seeing bucks. Don't get me wrong. In the afternoons we were hunting antelope, not mule deer.
And now, mind you, we've already been hunting antelope for 7 days.
Right.
It's not like we just started hunting them.
Yeah.
Every day we're after.
Mornings was mule deer. Evenings was antelope.
Yeah. So we had been putting a lot of time in.
Yeah. And there's quite a few younger bucks on the property. There were some older ones that we were chasing, try and get on them too, but they're a lot smarter, I think.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I get this opportunity. Buck, there was a doe. There had to have been a hot doe in there, but there was 3 bucks about the size of the one I shot. And they were kind of running in and out. I got close to, I had him at broadside at 70-some yards, and I actually shot, and the arrow just went right just underneath him. And he wung out around, and he turned and started coming back towards me because there's like a little knoll in front of me with some taller grass. I tucked down. I started sneaking up to that knoll. I got the knoll, and I got up over the top. I could laser him, and he was, what was it, like 30-some yards, 32 yards,
Second time.
33 yards. And he was kind of quartering at me, pulled up, put the arrow right on his shoulder, let drive, and it drove right through him out the other side. He took off running, and I see him run and disappear, and then I see this goat at a dead sprint running away, and I'm like, God, I thought I hit him better than that, and I'm freaking out. Mike's coming over, and he's like, oh, dude, he's down, and I'm like, I seen that other goat go around the corner. I'm like, wow, He really covered some distance. So I start walking. Mike's like, no, he's over here.
Yeah, I'm like, where are you going?
Yeah. And he had gone down, I don't know, 60 yards.
He didn't go very far.
Yeah. So I had my goat down then. A nice antelope.
Yep.
Would have been my number 4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
buddy.
So, and then it was Mike's turn.
Yeah, we went out, the whole rest of the day, because
Yeah.
that was,
Well, we skinned, cut, quartered that one, put
Yeah.
them in the freezer.
yeah, we did go after a couple other ones after you shot that, but
Yep.
didn't make it happen, so we went back, had to take care of that animal. You gotta remember, it's in the 90s out there, so it's
Yeah.
hot, you don't have a lot of time, so, yeah, cut that one up, got him in the freezer.
Yep.
We grabbed a little bit of water and some food quick, and we're back out. We were chasing them all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, and we can drive on the one of the main roads kind of past, or the length of the property, so we just drive and we glass and stop and glass.
Yeah, because you could see miles into the property
Yeah.
with binos.
And Carl's seen this one. I didn't see him, actually. Way on the back side of those cuts.
Yeah.
We call them cuts, because that's what they call them out there. And it's
Yeah.
just, cuts, boom, and they're down. There's a little cliff, and he's like, yeah, there's one. He's like, oh, he's way out there, and then I'm like, where? And I'm looking, and we're basically going by land.
Right.
By what's there, so we decided we're going to go after that one. Mm-hmm. He stayed back so he could still see him, and I was working my way out, and we were communicating back and forth. And I got in right over top of him. It was a horrible wind.
Yeah, it was probably 35 mile an hour wind gusts.
And I believe I shot him at 64 or 5. It was right around that. And I did hit him a little bit back, but he went immediately embedded.
He was hurt.
And I knew he was hurt bad, because otherwise antelope, if you ever hunt them, they're gone. They are gone.
Like miles.
Yeah. If you hit one good, though, they go down
Yeah.
pretty quickly. And then the doe went up to him and went around him and blew at him and blew at me, and she blew out of there, and he didn't move, so I knew he was in a lot of trouble. But he was then 85, 90 yards away or whatever, and
Yeah.
so we ended up working around him. Again, I stayed and watched, and Carl came in from the other side. We got another arrow in him to finish him off. Real close to the same as what Carl shot. I think they're brothers.
Yeah.
I don't know the age, don't care.
Yep.
That
Yep.
was, for both of us, that's 4 for 4 on antelope hunts.
Yep. Yeah, buddy. No kid.
We both been antelope hunting 4 times and shot 4 bucks. So that was amazing. Lot of work. I mean,
Yep.
I know we were for sure, it was 8 days, maybe 9 days, full days.
Oh, yeah.
That we hunt a mule deer and antelope
Yeah,
to get
10
it
to
done.
10 to probably 20 miles a day on your lakes.
Yeah. Lot
Plus
of
your
work.
ATV or truck driving and all of
Yep.
that going back and forth. So, yeah, sun up to sundown hunting, which is a blast.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's a lot of work though.
For
And
sure.
we love that shit. So
You love that shit.
and we do.
I love that shit.
I love that shit. But after that, we're getting raw. And at that point, we got 3 animals down each, and it's getting to be whitetail season here
Yeah,
in
buddy.
Wisconsin. And we still plan on going to North Dakota for whitetail.
Yep.
So whitetail season hits here in Wisconsin. We come back from that hunt. It was like September 17th.
Yeah, it was open here.
Yeah. Was it opening weekend or
think
whatever?
so.
We didn't hunt
We didn't
anyway. So it gets to be opening day and whatever. We got a few deer that we're seeing. We know we've got our hit list and stuff we want to do. And couple good bucks on both properties. And gets to be, late September?
Yep.
Early October.
Late September for me.
Yeah.
First one, and then,
Yeah, my first hunt was September 22nd.
yeah,
Seen 3 good bucks, 1 4-year-old that I let go.
yeah.
But I had some pretty good deer on the property, so, being early, I chose not to shoot them.
Right.
And then late September,
Yeah,
we went out.
Yeah, we had that big cold front roll in here, and it was September, whatever the last day of September was, 28th, 29th, whatever that day was. Big cold front come in. I went into my bottom plot, where I don't go
Yep.
usually until late October. The far west end was the only stand I could hunt, because we had
East wind.
We had east wind, and I had shorts and hooks for the 2 big bucks that I had here consistently, and I wanted to kill hooks bad. And both those bucks came out in that food plot. Both of them I had at 30 yards. Just could not get the shot at hooks. You
gonna cut that tree limb?
I'm gonna cut that. Either that stand's gonna get moved. But I had him at 30 yards. He was broadside feeding, but Karl knows he's been in it. There's one little goofy limb, and it was right there. And I'm like, I just don't think I'm gonna clear it.
Yeah, you guys will see it on the video here.
I'm like, all he's got to do is just take one more step,
Yep.
and I can kill him, And then Shorts, the other buck, was up and walked right out in the wide open, but I was down on a knee,
Yeah.
to shoot this other one, so I didn't shoot him. And anyway, night goes on, they both go away. I can't get out of the plot. Hooks literally stays in the plot all night, beds, and is eating in the middle of the plot. I was out there till after 8:30 at night.
Yeah.
My wife's freaking out, wondering where I am because I forgot my phone. And I'm literally waiting for the deer to get out of the plot.
Yeah.
So, and you went out same. You
Yes.
were hunting on that front also.
Yeah, I seen a couple really good deer again. I hunted down low, trying to stay out of our upper stands, just educating deer by going up in there on my property that time of year. And the wind for that particular time wasn't perfect. But again, I seen a couple of good deer, but no shot opportunities. I think that night they came in, but they didn't have any opportunities. But yeah, seen a couple of good 3-year-olds that came in. But so then it's the next night.
Yeah. Then it's October 1. Same cold had dropped off the other side of the front.
But the wind changed.
Wind changed to northwest, I believe it was that night, because I actually sat in my middle one in Thunderdome, I call it.
Thunderdome.
Which that stand she's a killer.
Yeah.
I don't normally go in there, but I thought I had a good shot. I wanted to kill hooks. I wanted to kill him early. Didn't care what time of year it was. Hoped maybe both of them would come out again. Hooks did not come out. Shorts came out, which is 10-pointer.
Yep.
Milled around by me 40 minutes. Didn't give me any shots for most of the time. I really hesitated on shooting him. Not because I didn't want to shoot him, because I didn't want to be done.
Yep.
But
it's a struggle that time.
It was tough, and he was a nice buck.
Number 2 on the property.
He was the second biggest deer I had here at the time, and he worked his way around. He was at 42 yards, and I decided I was going to shoot him. I took him. I watched him go down, get up, go down again. Anyway, I shot him that night.
Yep.
On that cold front. Nice 10-pointer.
Yep.
Don't know how old he was. Don't care.
Yep.
You can get into that again.
Yeah. Yep.
But I was happy. Like I showed Karl, he never had a tail.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I call him, man. I have lots of pictures of him. He just had a little fluff ball of a tail.
Well, he kept calling him Shorts, and I'm looking at this deer like, man, that's got great times.
Why you calling him Shorts? Yeah, he had no tail. I don't know what it was with him. I had lots of pictures of him.
It's half bobcat.
Yeah, could be. That's a short applause.
Yep.
But yeah, so then I was done.
Yep.
And I didn't know what the hell to do.
Yeah, Mike was done, and I'm like, well, shit, now I got a camera, man. So, but I went out, the next time I went out would have been, I think I went out once or twice in between there, kind of hunting food edges down by the building.
Yep.
Didn't see much. All the deer were kind of feeding all over the place. So, what was it, October 23rd, my birthday. I went down, I sat a new water hole that we put in just behind what we call the picnic area. It's an old building. I bought the property from the Amish, and they had an old building in there. And anyway, I went in there to this water hole. The wind was correct. Basically, it was dying, but it was like a southwest wind, which comes over the top of this ridge. And in the evening, the thermals just roll right down this coulee. So I got up in the stand, a great big oak, 20 yards off this water hole, and I seen a couple does came through, a couple small bucks went to the water, and let them pass through. They kind of go into the west to feed on the neighbor's corn, and all of a sudden, big big 9-pointer comes in down there in the bottom. Comes through off of the bedding area that Mike and I had created a couple years back and down into the bottom of this valley. And he stays down in the bottom. I call to him. He gets ticked off, pissed off. He turns, starts coming down the bottom, gets to this little flat plateau in the bottom, starts tearing up trees and making scrapes and looking up, trying to figure out who was grunting at him, and finally he commits, turns, starts coming up. Well, you think he'd come to that water? No, he's got to go out and around and kind of through the thick stuff.
Weird.
Yeah, big deer, I go to full draw, and he steps into the spot at 17 yards. And I'm thinking, I got a hole I can put it through right there, put the pin on the shoulder, let drive, and hit a tree limb, deflects up.
No bueno.
No bueno. Over his back, he turns and goes down and around. He didn't even know what happened.
Yeah.
Gets down to the bottom, looks around. Of course, at that point, I'm in panic mode. Grunt back. He's looking back like, yeah, don't think I'm going up there again. He just walks away, which is fine. He wasn't that scared. He hung out there for another 10, 15 minutes and calmed down and walked away. So that was that one. Mike's still done.
Yeah, still done.
They're still done.
In case you're wondering.
Vacation starts, because we usually set our vacation. This year it was actually the last week of October.
Yep.
First full week in November. I think we were on vacation till November 9th or 10th this year. Mm-hmm. Just the way the year lays out. Still planning on going to North Dakota at this time. Mm-hmm. So Mike comes down to film me one day. The first run in I have, that would have been October 30th. I have Captain Hook come in below me. We're in the Cherry. And Mike was actually working that day, so I was self-filming. And the deer comes in, commits, gets to, 13 or 14 yards. But the way the stand's set up, if I'd have been in the camera stand, I could have zipped him. But I was in the hunted stand, and I had no shot that direction. Yeah. So he ends up winning that scenario, turns around, goes away. Seen a couple other good bucks that day. So I had Mike come down. It was November 2nd when Mike came down to hunt with me. Those days after that, I seen a couple good bucks, but never shot anything. So Mike comes down November 2nd, evening hunt. We're hunting together. We hunted all day, but evening hunt. We have one good buck come in right away. Nice 2-year-old, I think. I don't know, really good-looking deer. Nice 8-pointer. He'll be a great deer this year. And then I look out, and I see another buck down to the bottom. I grunt to him. I knew which deer it was. It's actually a buck I ended up calling Redemption. And we'll talk about him a little bit later. But he turns. He starts coming up through the thick stuff. We had some decoys out because at that point, come November 1st, I called out there to make sure everything was good for North Dakota, and the landowner tells us, nope. He goes, we don't have any whitetails because we didn't draw a mule deer tag. So he's like, I'll just keep the money. You guys can come back next year for the mule deer tag. Hopefully you'll draw, which we will draw.
Yes.
So that being said, this whitetail's coming in. He comes up below us, sees the decoy, commits, turns, comes in, gives me a 23-yard shot, and I choked. Shot right underneath him. I don't know. I was at full draw for quite a while. I'm not going to make any excuses. I just got weak on the end and made a couple bad decisions and screwed it all up. So he lives, and you guys see that on the video there. And now it's getting to be, what the heck was it? 2 days after that? November 5th. It was election day.
I was going to come down.
Yeah, it was election day. Mike was going to come down, and I went out. It was midday after election day because you were coming the 6th.
Yeah, I was going to come the next day.
Yep. And November 5th, I went out. Big rainstorm coming. So again, weather, you guys. We're talking big temperature change because it was 60-some degrees when I got in the tree.
Yep. Rain
coming, was going to drop down to like 30-something or 40 for the night, 30 night. And I knew the deer would be moving. Got up in the same stand that Mike and I were in. It's basically same scenario, put the decoys out. I wasn't even ready, and I looked down below. I'd just done the interview, and I see a deer moving, a grunt to a turn, comes up, and I hear it's Captain Hook. the number 3 deer on my property, and a really nice buck. He works his way right into 5 yards, maybe, not even.
Does that mean you're going to ride him?
I could have. All I had to do was jump. Zipped him, ran through. The whole hunt takes 7 minutes, and I'm done. And that was my whitetail for Wisconsin.
Yep.
Beautiful buck. Happy to take him. Don't know how old he is. Don't care.
Nope.
So now we both know we're not going to North Dakota.
Yeah.
So we got gun season coming up in Wisconsin, and the idea was to shoot deer with our bows. And day one, had my bow with me and the rifle, just in case something was way out. I seen a giant move up, so I hunted the cherry that Mike and I had set, where I had the first encounter with Captain Hook, and way up above me, you can see quite a ways with the leaves off, I see a giant deer move through there. I seen like 14 deer that day, or 15. That one in particular buck was a deer I really would have shot, but no shot opportunity, even with a rifle there, just too thick. So day 2, I decided to go in, and Mike and I, you guys hear us talk sometimes about, stands that we have that are last ditch effort stands. They're great stands, but if you go in there, you're going to educate deer. So you better do it that hunt. So I took my rifle with me and my bow, and got up in the stand. And early morning, I knew with my camera there that all these deer were moving in there because it's right basically in their bedding. They were coming up in there about 8 a.m. And it was like 8:05 or 8:07, and I look down and I see a buck coming, and he's way below me, so I grunt to him, and he turns and starts coming up, and he's committed, but he stops, and I can feel the downdraft going right to his nose. You see him put his nose up in the video. I grabbed the rifle because he's still 60-some yards away, and put it on him. Here's this big 8-pointer. I call it Redemption. Call him that now. And so I squeezed off and shot. First shot, honestly, I don't think I hit him. It looked to me like I hit him when he ran off, and then he stopped again, and the second shot, I just absolutely crushed him. But it was thick through there. And I think on the first shot I hit a vine and something else, I don't know.
You were killing some branches this year.
I killed some branches. Dude, it was one of those years, And anyhow, I ended up getting this deer. And I shot him with a rifle. It's the first deer I shot with a gun in 15 years. And I'm not going to lie. Probably be the last deer I shoot with a gun. Maybe ever, but for at least 15 years.
I'm going to go 15-year.
Yeah, I'm not going to take anything away from the animal. I don't want anybody to think I'm taking anything away from the animal. But with a gun, I probably shouldn't even brought it, honestly, because I don't feel the excitement, the thrill of it like I used to.
Very impersonal?
Very impersonal. Yeah, it was rough. I don't know. Didn't know what to think. I was happy I shot the deer. Yeah. I still don't know what to think. You could tell.
He texts me. He's like, "Hey, I remember that 8-pointer there?" Because he actually thought a couple days before that the neighbor had shot him. I thought
the neighbor had shot him the day before.
With the gun, and I'm like, "Well, that sucks. He's dead." And then he's like, "Remember that deer that I thought the neighbor shot that we had missed that night?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, the neighbor didn't shoot him, but he's dead now." And I'm like, "Oh, you killed him?" I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." And then I'm talking to you later, and you're like, "Yeah, I don't really know what to think about it." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about? You know what to think about it?"
Yeah. Oh, with a rifle.
And he told me he shot him with a gun, and I punched him in the mouth later.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Well, and we always plan on doing it with a bow, and I took the rifle, and I don't know. I just shouldn't have took the rifle. That's just how I feel about it. Mm-hmm. Take it for what it's worth. That's just me.
Right.
But and then.
Yeah, then obviously it's gun season, so I'm hunting.
With a bow.
With the bow.
Yep.
I sat opening weekend with my stepdad.
Yep.
I haven't hunted with him in 15 years.
Yeah.
So I just sat up. I have a box blind up here that I'm sure you guys that watch us have seen it in the background or whatever. And I bought it just for him. Mm-hmm. Him and I sat in there and we BS'd, and he slept, and I seen some deer, and I just sat there. I didn't even have a weapon with me.
Yeah.
And I sat there opening weekend with him. It was a good time. Mm-hmm. I was talking to Karl on and off, and I told him I was going in I was probably only going to hunt in the afternoon. I was chasing a buck I had here that I had him here last year. I do have some pictures of him. I knew it was him because he's got that one funky brow tine.
Yeah,
I thought he was here last year. I had named him Whitey. He was a big white racked 10-pointer. And I'm like, I'm going after that deer. I'm like, I'm either killing that deer or I'm not killing any. And I knew I had him the 23rd.
Yeah, you had sat a couple times.
The 23rd, the 25th, and the 18th of November.
Yeah.
I had him 30 yards and in 3 separate times watching.
Yeah.
It's horrible. No tag.
Yep.
I was with Phil, taking Phil out, and I was sitting watching.
Yep.
And so I went in.
We gotta congratulate Phil though.
And we did kill a big buck here that I called Leaner.
Yep.
November 10th.
Yep.
And Phil, you still owe me guide service.
That's a fact.
It's expensive, and it's accumulating interest.
It's true. Daily.
Yeah, another beautiful buck we were able to take out of here on the 10th that Phil shot. And I'm sure you guys have seen the footage of that. Carl put that hunt up a while back.
Yep.
I went out on that Monday here, so it was that Monday after opening weekend. And it was shitty here. It rained most of the day, and I sat on top of my ridge. Basically, at top of the ridge, I sat in flyer stand, which you know where it is. It's right on the kind of the top of my ridge.
Yeah, we both shot bucks out of there.
Yeah, I sat there and just watched, and I had a big 8. We had pictures of him early. That big, tall, high 8.
That's a good deer.
Came out. I did not shoot him. He stood right where you killed Freak.
That was hard.
It was, and I was regretting it when he walked away. If I say I didn't, I would be lying. But he stood there for probably a minute.
Yeah.
Walked away, and I'm like, Jesus, did you really not just shoot that deer? And anyway, I didn't, and I was determined I was going to shoot that 10. Had that big 7, that big goofy 7-pointer we've seen all year.
Yeah.
That she lived.
Another great deer.
Yeah, another great deer. Love to see him next year. I seen some does. It was raining. It's terrible, shitty day. But that afternoon, the rain was supposed to stop and the wind was supposed to shift to west-northwest, which again allows me to get down into the dome. Thunderdome. So I did, and I was wet. And I got down there at I think it stopped raining at about 1:30, and I moved and got there, and it was quiet for quite a while. I didn't see anything till probably 3:30, probably. So it's dark at what? 5?
Yeah, 5:15.
Right around there.
Yeah.
I think it was. So I had 4 does, and I think it was that same group, that 4 group of does.
Yep.
I had Mega Spike.
Yep.
Mega Spike was out there.
Mega Spike.
The Big Fork was out there.
Yeah.
A couple other deer milling around, and I'm just standing in the stand, looking out in the plot, watching them. And I look to my right, which is the main trail where we come into the stand, and I look and I see a rack sticking out, and I look and I'm like, it's him. He's standing. He's probably only 35 yards from me. That trail, you've seen it there a million times. And he's just got his head sticking out of the woods, and he's looking into the food plot. And he just stands there, and I'm like, he ain't gonna come out. Big deer, he's just gonna stand there. Stands there and he stares, and you guys all know how they do it, like a statue.
Adult deer will stand and watch for hours.
Yeah. And it's after 4 for sure. I don't remember exactly. It was after 4, probably a quarter after 4. I'm like, he's gonna stand there until dark.
Yeah.
I'm like, he ain't gonna come out.
Well, that's typical of a big deer.
And Carl knows this because he's been there a million times, but he comes out, and then he's standing there, and he's at about 42 yards. Can't shoot him.
Yeah.
Those hickory nut trees
are there,
which I said we're going to take out.
Well, we will take them
They're coming out this spring. We're moving those trees. I don't want them in the plot. So he stands there, and then he starts to head north to the bottom of the plot. And I'm like, he's just going to go straight away into the bottom of the plot, down and out, and gone. So he goes all the way across the plot. There's no shot at him there. Stops at our screening, turns, starts to go west, and he's walking the edge, and he's walking the same edge where I shot shorts.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, maybe, and we have a large jack pine there, Carl. This tree has gotten really big now.
Yeah.
He gets behind that tree, and I can't see him anymore.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I grab my bow. Because I don't know where he is. He might have went in, because if he goes in the plot there, I can't see him until he gets out a little ways, behind the plot. And literally, all of a sudden, he walks out, puts his head down, starts feeding. He's directly in front of me.
Yep.
Broadside. And I'm like, no footage at all. I didn't have the big camera anyway because it rained all day.
Yeah.
I hit the Tacticam. It did the normal Tacticam thing because I didn't charge it.
Yep.
I'll right back off. But it was literally this fast. Range 38, set my pin, drew, shot.
Yep.
Went out. He didn't even make it just to the screening. Went down. Got up. Went down again. The second time I had my binos on him, and I could see the exit. It was perfect. And, his mouth was all blood. And I'm like, he is down. And he got up one more time and went down. And it was that whitey buck.
Yep.